At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you for joining me here on Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning at 6:30 in the morning. You can see a look at all of that activity. We saw a lot of lightning strikes, and there were some confirmed lightning strike fires in some of the higher elevations. So yeah, this was definitely one of those situations where, you know, if this was later in the season, we probably would be looking at a more serious situation here. But the good news is it's kind of early on in the season. We have less fuels out there, and it's not as much of a concern. But obviously, we did see some of those fires that did start. All right, speaking of the fires, let's get you into it. And we're going to start off by looking at a watch duty map here. And this is just kind of highlighting where most of the fires are. I don't know why my head's so scratchy this morning. All right, anyway. But you can see some of the fires. The Tom fire in western Siskiyou County. You've got the Allen fire in western Trinity County. You've got the Miller fire, the Reading fire. You've got the H2 fire, which also, I believe, was another lightning strike fire in eastern Shasta County, the L1 fire that is no longer an issue at this point. You've also got some fires down into Plumas County as well. So let's take a look at some of the fires out here. We're not going to look at all of them, but you can still see there actually is still an evacuation warning for those areas shaded in yellow, which is basically south and east of Douglas City here, south of Highway 299 and east of Highway 3. An evacuation warning just basically means just be ready to go. But with the fact that we are continuing to see them make progress on this fire, they may be lifting that here soon. I don't know. I'm not the one who makes those decisions here. But again, you can see here it's at 39.4 acres. As of yesterday, that was the same acreage we were talking about. We're at 45% containment. But keep in mind, I just refreshed this data. This is 11 hours old, so it may be bigger. Containment may be higher as well. But we're looking at certainly them making some progress on the fire. We also have the Miller fire, which is in western Trinity County. I don't have any confirmed reports as to whether or not this is a lightning strike fire, but based on its location, I'd be willing to guess that it is. We're also looking at data here that is 10 hours old. So most likely the acreage has increased for the Miller fire. And one of the reasons I believe that is because this fire started late in the afternoon and the evening hours, and then as it started going into the nighttime hours, they basically pulled out all air attack. So it's been kind of sitting there. I don't know if they have people on the ground. Most likely they do, that are kind of helping to fight the fire as well. But the air attack is most likely going to resume this morning on the Miller fire, and hopefully they can get a handle on that today here. So no containment being reported, but again, this is information that is 10 hours old. We will be getting more information here in the next hour or so. We take a look out into Plumas County. So this is where we've seen some fires here. You've got the American fire, you've got the Highland fire, you've also the Highlands fire is 100% contained. This is obviously some very good news there. We've also got the Letter fire, which is 11.1 acres. This is a day ago. As of last night, this is actually, no, not even last night. This was the last report coming in 9 hours ago at 9:22 p.m. 11.1 acres per Plumas National Forest on their Facebook page, indicating that that's how big the fire is. We're at 50% containment. But again, this is as of last night. The containment may have gone higher. The acreage may have gone higher as well. We'll see. But any evacuation warnings in Plumas County have been lifted. So yes, we are seeing some progress on a lot of these fires. Now, the problem is we're probably going to see more lightning strikes here for today. Hopefully, we don't get any more lightning spike fires. And keep in mind, a lot of times you can have these lightning storms that we did see yesterday and could see today. And sometimes it can take a couple of days before you actually start seeing any plumes of smoke coming from some of these fires. So you can bet that CAL FIRE and the firefighters in general are keeping a close eye on all of the mountain locations where we saw lightning strikes yesterday and we'll see again today to make sure that there are no fires that have gone unnoticed at this point. So that's something we've also got to keep in mind, is that there may be some more fires that we're going to hear about here throughout the day today and even into tomorrow as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our fire weather forecast here. And this is brought to you by Garmin Tractor Service. Now, the winds this morning, as you can see, they're fairly calm. So that is something that's good to see. We take a look at the forecast wind gusts, and we are expected to see them most likely pick up this afternoon. But that's pretty standard, pretty typical this time of the year. We see the calm winds in the morning, and then by the afternoon, the winds tend to pick up. But bottom line, I'm not seeing any major wind events. We're not looking at this overall pattern here that's bringing us very, very strong winds, but just kind of your typical gusty winds in the afternoon. Wednesday morning, we're looking at those calm winds, picking up a little bit on Wednesday, but actually not as strong. However, still some pretty gusty winds off in the eastern mountains. And then going into your Thursday morning, fairly calm winds. By the afternoon, yeah, they're picking back up again, 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. Looks like from the south down towards Glen and Butte counties, but coming in from the north out towards Tehama and Shasta County. Also some gusty winds, looks like, in the eastern mountains once again for your Thursday. So let's take a look at that fire weather risk. This today is brought to you by Defensible Space and Brush Removal. You can see for today at 8 o'clock this morning, we have good relative humidity. Humidity is dropping, winds are picking up, high fire danger, unfortunately, for today. We take you into your Wednesday morning. There you can see, looking at some good relative humidity recovery, things are looking good. But actually, we do have the moderate to high fire weather risk, but it's not as high as what we're seeing here for today. So improving conditions for your Wednesday. Thursday morning, good relative humidity recovery. But there it is. With those winds picking up, especially for the north and west side of the valley, you can see that we're back into that high fire weather risk, but with more of a southerly flow of winds and not as strong with the winds for Glen and Butte County. You can see the fire weather risk is not quite as high there. But bottom line, we've got that high fire danger here over the next few days. So where can you go to get the latest on the fires? Well, obviously, here at Weather NorCal. That's kind of the answer, the short answer to that. The long answer is this. Let's take you to weathernorcal.com, okay? I'm going to take you to weathernorcal.com. Now, what I typically do in the morning, I give you this extensive fire coverage, and that's what I do in the morning. I also do it on the 6 o'clock update as well. But if throughout the day, I don't typically at the noon or even the 6 p.m. update unless something major is happening. I don't typically do updates in the noon or in the evening. The reason being is fires are continually changing and updating and the works. So I record these and then it changes, okay? So what you can do to get the latest information, there's a one-stop shop that I've developed here for you. If you go to weathernorcal.com, scroll down, see where it says fire danger, click on it. And it will take you to different parts, different things in a one-stop shop, right? You've got Watch Duty right here. You can check out the latest that's coming in from Watch Duty. You've got all kinds of forecast information here as well. And you've also got the Office of Emergency Services by county. So a lot of great resources here for you as you kind of, we go through this fire season. It's a one-stop shop. It's everything you need in one quick location. All right, let's go to your Krueger's Quickcast now. For those of you who are getting out of the fire forecast, out of the fires in general, I'm just going to get your forecast for today. For those of you that maybe work outside, you want to know what to expect before you're heading out the door this morning. This is for your Tuesday, June 10th, your Krueger's Quickcast. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 60s, even some low 70s in the valley, so still quite mild this morning. Even in the mountains, you're mainly in the 50s and low 50s out along the coast here this morning. So out the door, you're heading out, right? You're going to work. Well, there are those temperatures, mid-70s for the valley. Looks like in the 60s, even some 70s for some of the higher elevations here, but still some fog along the coast. There are the calm winds this morning. Those winds will pick up later this afternoon, gusting upwards of 20, even 25 miles per hour. And then they die down going into your Wednesday morning. Right, there it is. And then it looks like we'll see those winds pick back up again, but not as strong for Wednesday afternoon. So we did see quite a lot of thunderstorm activity here in the higher elevations yesterday. A lot of lightning strikes, and you can see all those clouds in the thunderstorms we saw yesterday. I think we're going to see a repeat of that today, but when I say repeat, not to the same extent as far as the overall coverage, but I still think we can see some pretty strong to even severe thunderstorms this afternoon. Let's show you that here. So there you can see, there it is. You know what? I wanted to show you this as well. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in here real quick here, and we'll do that real quickly. Not a problem. Clean and simple. So this is the severe weather outlook coming in from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. Now, what I've done here is I've taken these lightning strikes. This is where I think the best chances for thunderstorms will be, and I think it's mainly going to be in extreme northern Trinity County, central and eastern Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and it could go as far south as Lassen County. But I think Plumas County may most likely has a very good chance of dodging any thunderstorms today. All right, so let's take a look at that on Futurecast. Taking note also that we have that fog along the coast having a hard time burning off through the afternoon. But there is the afternoon convection. Afternoon daytime heating. We see those puffy cumulus clouds develop, those towering cumulus clouds that we see throughout the afternoon, and those typically develop into thunderstorms. So look where most of the activity is. Central, eastern Siskiyou County, parts of Modoc County, and northern Lassen County. Now, some of that may creep southward into northern Trinity County and into southern Lassen, maybe even northern Plumas counties. But elsewhere, you see it's not as widespread as we saw yesterday. Now, that continues through the afternoon into the evening, especially for central and eastern Siskiyou County. And some of those thunderstorms could become severe. Now, yesterday, we actually did see a severe thunderstorm warning in western Siskiyou County. Today, we may see that again. What constitutes a severe thunderstorm? You can see when the thunderstorms develop hail, 1 inch in diameter, about the size of a quarter, and wind gusts in excess of 58 miles per hour or higher. And that is what we could possibly see with some of these thunderstorms in Siskiyou County. But by late tonight, early tomorrow morning, that's all over with. And I do expect mainly dry conditions after that. So there's that best chance for thunderstorms north and east of the valley. The valley remaining dry. The valley, by the way, not as hot as it has been. I think we'll dodge the triple digits in most cases today. Now, for tonight, looking at mid-60s, low to mid-60s for the valley, 50s in the mountains, and upper 40s for the coast. Looking at your 7-day forecast for the valley, temperature slowly dropping. I think some of us in the valley could struggle to get out of the 80s by the time we get into Friday and Saturday. That's a welcome sight. But then temperature is starting to slowly increase again after that by the second half of the weekend and early next week. For the coast, temperature is eventually dropping down to around 60, give or take. It's still dry. Inland, you're dry. Temperature is in the upper 70s, low 80s, starting Friday through the weekend. For Trinity County, I've still got that slight chance in there for you today, but that's mainly going to be north. Otherwise, I do expect dry conditions, even for your Wednesday, cooling off in the low 80s by the time we get into Friday. And for Siskiyou, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, chance for thunderstorms for all of these locations for today. Mainly the chance for Wednesday for Siskiyou and Modoc counties. And now looking at the latest forecast model data, I'm backing off even on that potential for Wednesday. And then on Thursday, it's dry, looking at temperatures dropping as we go into the weekend as well. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you there is a free event going on late this month. In fact, Saturday, June 28th, put this in your calendars, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., there is a Shred Fraud event. And PSA2, High Cap, and Medicare Patrol are teaming up to help you fight fraud. You know, a lot of times you get things in the mail, and you just toss them, right? But sometimes that mail has sensitive information. So you can open and shred mail you don't need at this free drive-through event. Medicare statements, sensitive documents, old bills, bring them to this event and they'll shred them for you right there. This is at 1647 Hartnell Avenue. Be sure to put this in your calendar. I'll continue to keep giving you reminders. Sometimes I forget words. Give you reminders throughout the rest of the month. All right, hey, let's take a look at Lake Oroville, and you can see just a beautiful sunny start to the day. I love looking at fences that have, just fences in general. But, you got to keep people out. Lake Oroville, North Forebay, a little bit of a breeze out there this morning, but we do have plenty of sunshine out there this morning. And taking a look at Main Street Chico on Highway 32, you've got sunny skies there. Looks like traffic is pretty typical this morning, especially on Highway 99 at Neal Road with sunny skies. And yeah, I mean, typical, right? Taking a look at Highway 44, Sundial Bridge Drive, and yeah, we got the sunny skies there as well. Let's take a look now at the coast. This is out in Crescent City, turning out to be a foggy start to the day. I'm pretty sure that updated. It did. Yeah, it's live. Okay, let's take a look now at Elk Country. This is north of Trinidad. I have some fog there as well. So we are starting off with some fog along the coast, and that's to be expected. This is something I was talking about the last few days. All right, we take a look at Soda Ridge camera. Look at that. We got some crags off there in the distance. Just beautiful. Still some clouds left over this morning from last night's activity here. We're going to be looking at those clouds that redeveloping here through the afternoon. You can see that in Fort Jones as well. Looks, like some of those clouds are getting pretty dark. But I do expect that we'll be looking at more of those clouds developing later on this morning and especially going into the afternoon hours. Well, what do you say we get ourselves into our deeper dive forecast, which is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. So here's a look at your current conditions out there right now. And you can see we're right around 70 for Redding and Red Bluff, a little bit cooler down to the south with 64 degrees for Oroville. Temperature of about 52. I mean, we're starting to see those mild mornings, even in the mountains at 52 degrees for Alturas, 52 for both Crescent City and Eureka. So we've got the mountain thunderstorms that can continue this afternoon. I don't think it'll be as widespread, but we could be looking at the potential for frequent lightning, gusty winds, and maybe even some hail. We're also looking at a cooling trend. It's starting today, but it's still going to be hot. But I think most of us in the valley will most likely be able to dodge the triple digits here for today. Once we cool things off, which the peak of that will be toward the end of the week, we're going to warm back up. I mean, no doubt about that, but I don't see any major heat waves heading our way anytime soon. And that would basically just be a big ridge of high pressure either coming in from the Pacific or the desert Southwest. I'm not seeing that happen, folks. Now again, it's going to get hot. It's going to be your typical summer heat, but nothing major, at least nothing we can't handle around here, right? So you can see the afternoon activity we saw yesterday. A lot of clouds from those thunderstorms. And those thunderstorms really got pretty strong. And that's why we saw a lot of the lightning strikes out there. And there was one severe thunderstorm warning in western Siskiyou County yesterday afternoon. So that has moved on out. We're going to be looking at more clouds developing again this afternoon. High pressure is moving on out, which means temperatures will start to drop. So I showed you this map a little bit earlier, but the green indicates category 1, basically a marginal risk of seeing severe thunderstorms. Now, as I mentioned, a severe thunderstorm is categorized as a severe thunderstorm. That is, once the thunderstorm starts producing inch in diameter hail, which is about the size of a quarter, and wind gusts in excess of 58 miles per hour or higher. So we could see that potential, I think, especially in Siskiyou County. I think the chances may be a bit slimmer in Modoc County. So where are the best chances for thunderstorms today? Maybe northern Trinity County, central eastern Siskiyou County. You see, I've got partly cloudy, but no thunderstorms for you in western Siskiyou County. Modoc County, northern Lassen County, but I think as you head south into Plumas County, your chances for thunderstorms are going to be slimmer. Of course, no thunderstorms are expected in the valley or in southern Trinity County or even western Siskiyou County either. So let's take a look at Futurecast. We're going to take you into the afternoon hours. So there's the fog along the coast, by the way. By 2 o'clock this afternoon, there are the thunderstorms developing central, eastern Siskiyou, Modoc County, northern Lassen County. But you're seeing some clouds developing. Now, it looks like a few showers trying to develop here, but see where most of the activity is? Siskiyou County. And you can see how strong they're getting. So we could see some severe thunderstorms in central Siskiyou County. Probably not in Modoc, but we'll watch it. And you can see things are starting to kind of quiet down off to the east. So there's the fog along the coast, by the way. So we go into tonight, it's all pretty much done with. Now, if you watch this morning's forecast at 6 a.m., we were seeing the potential for some thunderstorms developing here in even parts of Siskiyou County. This model is completely backed off on that. Now, I'm still going to keep that slight chance for a shower, sprinkle in parts of Siskiyou County, maybe an off chance for a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon, and maybe even parts of Modoc County. But elsewhere, I think it'll be dry. But we're still seeing that fog along the coast here for Wednesday evening. Thursday morning, sunny skies, minus, of course, the fog we have along the coast. Taking you into the afternoon clouds, but I don't expect any more thunderstorms for your Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. So here's your temperature outlook. Cooler than normal, especially the northwest side of the state. However, we're starting to get more of that normal range. That's because it's going to start to heat up again as we go into, say, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So the heat that's been over us, that's continuing to migrate down to the south and east. So what's happening is a couple of things. Is this cooler air is migrating eastward. And what it's doing is pushing that heat down to our south and east. That, as a result, allows our temperatures to drop. But this, too, is migrating southward, bringing in some cooler air as a result, too. That's going to be around Friday and Saturday when we expect some of that coolest air. But then that moves back up by the time we get into Sunday. Now, we've got two areas of high pressure we got to watch that's got some heat over here and another ridge over here. But check this out. You see this? This is going to throw a little monkey wrench in the plan for this heat to try to build in. So you can see this heat's building in, and so temperatures are increasing. I do expect some triple-digit heat as early as Monday, Tuesday of next week, even Wednesday. But as this storm system rides to our north, it prevents this heat from building in any stronger. If this wasn't here, we'd be looking at a big, broad ridge of high pressure. We'd be talking about temperatures 105, 106, maybe even approaching 110 degrees. But because of this is flattening out that ridge. It's preventing the heat from building in as strong as it would like to, and as a result, our temperatures drop. And this trend with storms riding to our north looks to stick around for a while. So again, looking at the 10-day trend, yes, we're dropping down, maybe some upper 80s for some of the cooler spots in the valley by Friday, Saturday. Yes, we're seeing some triple digits, but this is in Redding that we're looking at. So 101, 102, sure, but elsewhere in the valley, probably even just right around 100 or even upper 90s. And then it may start to drop again toward the end of next week. Taking a look at those lake levels, still very healthy. There's your elevations. There's a look at the last 24 hours. You can see a slight drop here, but still at 90% capacity or higher for the lakes around here. The wave heights aren't changing much today or tomorrow. So as a result, there are no more smoke craft advisories. There may be some of that patchy dense fog, but no alerts out there. We can see the winds are coming in from the northwest at about 5 to 10 knots, with their waves from the northwest at 3 feet. At 5 seconds, and from the northwest at 5 feet at 11 seconds. All right, so for today, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. I still got that chance in there for today, but I think most of it will be north. Coffee Creek, Trinity Center, sure. You could see a stray shower, maybe even a thunderstorm. But Weaverville, Douglas City, I think your chances are slimmer, especially as you head down to the south. So 98 for Hayfork, 89 that is, for Peanut, 84 in Mad River. Slight chance maybe even in Hayfork. That's as far south as it may go, but then temperatures starting to drop toward the end of the week. Here's your North Coast neighborhood forecast, and this is in southern Humboldt County, mid to upper 80s from Miranda down to Garberville, 80 for Red Crest and Honeydew, and looks like Shelter Cove about 69 degrees, 68 degrees in Fortuna, 70 in Hydesville, 65 in Ferndale, and 70 for a high today in Rio Dell. Out towards 95 in Hoopa, 98 for Willow Creek, so still hot for some of the inland areas, but we are on that downward trend. 73 degrees for Blue Lake, 71 degrees in Trinidad, 79 for Gas Key. Look for 91 out in Orleans, and I don't know why I didn't put that thunderstorm strike in there. You're not going to see thunderstorms in Orleans. Forget that. 76 degrees in Smith River, 66 degrees for Klamath, and there's Oric at about 68 degrees. 95 for a high today in Hornbrook. Now, you see a lot of lightning strikes in here. I'd say basically Horse Creek, Side Valley, Happy Camp, your chances for thunderstorms are much slimmer. It's mainly going to be central and eastern Siskiyou County. But we may see a stray thunderstorm even in Scott Valley. 91 for Greenview, 89 for Callahan, and 92 degrees in Fort Jones. Central eastern Siskiyou County, this is where we've got the best chances for thunderstorms for today. 89 for Weed, 88 for Tule Lake, Doris about 87. Still have that slight chance in there for Wednesday, but mainly just partly cloudy skies and drier and cooler conditions for the rest of the week. For Modoc County, you got a chance for thunderstorms pretty much anywhere you go. And you can see a slight chance going into Wednesday, drying out and cooling off towards the end of the week. All right, here's your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. So up to the north, better chances there. To the west here, your chances are going to be very slim. I still have a slight chance, though, for places like Bernie, not out of the question, but your chances are slimmer than yesterday. Temperatures dropping mid to upper 70s by Friday and Saturday. I still have the chance for thunderstorms here for Lassen Park, even around the around the perimeter of Lake Elminor as well. 88 for Chester, 72 degrees for Summit Lake, 77 for Manzanita Lake, and Westwood about 84 degrees. We take it to the south, where Paradise, you'll see a high of about 88 degrees here for today. Still have that chance for thunderstorms. Now, it might be overdoing it here for thunderstorm activity in Plumas County, but you get the idea. There still is that slight chance for thunderstorms, especially for, say, Susanville to the north. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast to the south, 93 in Gridley, 96 degrees in Los Molinos, and there you can see Corning about 95 degrees. There's your 7-day forecast for Chico. Temperatures low 90s by Wednesday, Thursday, upper 80s. Yes, I love it for Friday, Saturday. And then for your Father's Day on Sunday, 92, 94 degrees on Monday. All right, let's take a look at our forecast up to the north. You can see Whiskeytown. Well, we'll get there. I'm pushing the button. Nothing's happening. All right, 93 degrees for Whiskeytown, 93 for Lakehead, 98 degrees for Palo Cedro and Anderson, and 97 degrees in Cottonwood. Push the button. Technology doesn't always work properly, does it? All right, 94 degrees for Reading on Wednesday, Thursday, around 90. You know, you could quite possibly see highs in the upper 80s, even on Friday, Saturday for Reading, but I think Reading will be one of the warmer spots during this cooling trend. Temperatures back in the mid-90s by the time we get into Sunday and Monday. And for your Father's Day, look for a high of about 94 degrees and still looking at mainly sunny skies out there for the day. So yes, it is going to continue to be hot out there, but at least we've got that cooling trend heading our way. Well, what do you say we check in with some of you here? We've got good morning and have a great day coming in from James and Mandy Chapel. We've also got Curtis Brown checking in, one of our regulars, usuals. I got to sit up a little bit more straight, then you can not see my face here. We got Curtis Brown saying, good morning, Mike. Thanks for the detailed coverage on the fires. Well, that's what I try to do here, right? We take a look at Catherine Schmidt. Thank you and have a good morning. We've got Tracy Sackett also saying good morning with a nice little cup of coffee there in one of the emojis there. We've got Deborah Ann saying thank you. Always appreciate your forecast and weather reports. Well, I appreciate you, Deborah Ann, and I appreciate everyone for watching. This is what keeps me going, folks. We got Elaine saying, good morning, Mike. Have a great cup of coffee. Enjoy your terrific Tuesday. There it is. I think they call it, what, alliteration? Terrific Tuesday. Alliteration. I believe that's what they call it, right? Sometimes I'm not perfect with words. I should be, because that's what I communicate, but it is what it is. Well, thank you all again so much for watching this morning. We are going to wrap things up here and take a look at some beautiful pictures. This is looking out at Soda Ridge, Mount Shasta, off in the distance. We'll leave you this and several other cameras. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30.